Well, hello to everyone out there in the Matrix. This is the second video for the day, and some interesting details, which this is coming out of Polk County in Florida, which would be due east of Tampa, Florida, which was looted and burned to the ground. This sheriff is actually giving some information regarding Antifa and Black Lives Matter, which most of us already know by now, anyways. However, during one of these press conferences, he mentions that his citizens in his area, with the full support of the sheriff's department, are saying if the mobs of looters, robbers, arsonists come to your house, blow them out the door. The video that I made earlier, it does make me wonder where the police has been, but in this video, I'm going to play a couple of the press conferences from this Polk County sheriff. But then the last couple videos is video footage of what these mobs are going to face should they have the audacity to try and attack rural America. It will be a big mistake. With the events that has happened over the last 10, 11 days, there is no doubt in my mind that U.S. cities were allowed to be burnt to the ground. Because believe you me, should law enforcement want to prevent a common citizen from doing something, they will do it. We see it on TV all the time. They will surround your whole friggin' neighborhood with a SWAT team, shoot everybody inside. But they haven't. And there's a reason. There's an agenda. And this is played out across the United States with the robbing and the burning and the attacking of unarmed white civilians. And I'm going to throw the white in there because it's not politically correct to do so. But the fact is, those videos do not lie. And they're so big and bad, beating up old white women, gangs, mobs, psychopaths. Now, why law enforcement, and there are plenty of them that you can see in New York City, the cops are standing around watching these people destroy New York City. Soho in New York is gone. Different areas of Los Angeles completely gone. Different areas of Chicago completely gone. It's orchestrated. And they knew prior. When you listen to this sheriff talk, They already knew about this Antifa and the Black Lives Matter were in the area. They already knew it. They've known in all these cities. Let me just jump right into this. This is the first one where the Polk County Sheriff, Lakeland, gives updates on the protests. It's interesting because he has photos of one of these rioters. Pay attention to what he says. When I say this is orchestrated, not to mention the pallets of bricks and lumber that have been found in the past of these protests throughout our country in the major cities. Pay attention to what he says.
Misunderstanding at all that if you come here to riot, to loot, to injure people, we're going to lock you up in the county jail before quick. And it's not one agency or the other, but it's all of us working together. Now, I want to show you the picture that I brought today. This is an organized rioter. This person did not come to Lakeland yesterday to exercise his First Amendment rights. If you notice and pay close attention, this guy has a professional mask on, professional clothes that are clearly designed to seal out pepper spray or any chemical agents. This person was here to create problems. Our local police officers and deputies said, we noticed cars with out-of-county and out-of-state plates. We saw that the antagonists that were at Florida and the Boulevard, the ones that were generating the energy, were not our local folks. They came here to do nothing but create problems. But the difference is we're not going to accept that in this community. I want to show you this picture. You see the guy standing on top of the car? This red car supposedly bumped into or hit a protester standing in the middle of the road. We still don't know who that protester is. The city police have said over and over and over, if you were the victim, if you were hit, come forward and we'll investigate. There is no victim. But the man standing on the top of this car with the window smashed in is not a protester. He's a rioter. That's evil and it's criminal and it's wrong. Even if the person in the vehicle intentionally struck the victim, you still don't respond with this kind of conduct. But at the end of the day, there's not even a victim of this alleged person that was hit by the red car, which apparently was caught up and may very well have been fearful for their life and was simply trying to get out of the way. But we don't know that because we don't have the other side of the story from that particular victim. Come forward and we'll investigate. But this is unacceptable and will not have it. In addition to Lakeland last night, there was information that we were going to come under attack at Posner Park in the area of I-4 and 27 at about 8 p.m. Well, as you can very well understand, that we had resources there and a very few cars showed up. When they showed up, we were there first. And we stopped that few cars. We made one arrest. Several cars fled. The Highway Patrol did a marvelous job, absolute marvelous job, and they chased down and arrested a few more. But the message is clear. You come here to peaceably assemble and protest. We're going to make sure that we protect your constitutional right to do that, and we encourage it. But for those that want to come in stealthily among those wonderful people who are simply making their position known, the ones that tried to infiltrate we're going to hunt you down and lock you up if you engage in any criminal conduct. Now, before I turn it over to two of our community folks that I have known, if you look at this community and you said, of Lakeland, you say, who is responsible for leaving it better than they found it when they came? It's certainly.
So, right there, while he did say it in this press conference, I won't go completely into that because it would be too long. He did mention the now officially terrorist organization Antifa by executive order by the President of the United States. They knew ahead of time. As a matter of fact, I would say every U.S. city, the elected officials knew that these terrorist organizations were already there. And I noticed something very interesting about the face mask that this individual was wearing. If you were to listen to the entire video of that press conference, he mentioned Bloc, which seems to be at all protest, breaking out windows, starting fires, creating chaos. These are agents. Bloc is agents. Antifa, ne'er-do-well, never do nothing in life, paid by their sources, nevertheless a terrorist organization and very, very dangerous. Perhaps a little different than Bloc, which from years past, one, if they've investigated it, knows that Bloc is definitely government. You pick your ABC agency of your choice, it's probably one of those. This is the next one here, and this is where the sheriff, knowing that the terrorist organization Antifa, amongst others, are in Lakeland, just east of Tampa, these were his remarks regarding the safety of the citizens of Lakeland and what they can do to protect themselves.
Information in social media that some of the criminals were going to take their criminal conduct into the neighborhoods. I would tell them, if you value your life, you probably shouldn't do that in Polk County, because the people of Polk County like guns. They have guns. I encourage them to own guns, and they're going to be in their homes tonight with their guns loaded. And if you try to break into their homes to steal, to set fires, I'm highly recommending they blow you back out of the house with their guns.
So there you have it. And quite honestly, I don't blame them. If someone is breaking into your home, endangering your family or your person, it's time. It's coming. And as a matter of fact, there were a couple of sources that released information over the last couple of days that law enforcement across the country has had information leaked that Antifa have been given explosive devices from outside sources in order to go into rural areas of the United States. And we can only imagine what would happen. This next video is going to be showing you an example should these mobs of criminals, for no respect for life or property and no respect for themselves, obviously, this is what they are going to encounter should they have the balls to start attacking rural America.
I'm telling you, if you guys are thinking about coming to Coeur d'Alene to riot, loot, you better fucking think again, because we ain't having it over here. What's up, dude? I'm telling you, we ain't having it. You ain't gonna come in our fucking town and fuck our businesses up. We're right here downtown. Everybody's out, strapped. I guess there's this big rumor that people from Spokane are gonna come out here and act up and try to riot, but that shit ain't gonna happen. Watch, I'll just walk around, I'll show you how serious these guys are. You got a lot of people out here strapped up, ready to protect this community. Again, if you're in Spokane, if you have any thoughts of coming out here, think you're gonna loot and riot, you better fucking think again. Think again. Because these motherfuckers ain't playing right here. These guys they are not playing. Everybody's ready to defend and protect this town to the fullest by any means. Yeah, making friends. Everybody is out here. Sorry, man. Oh, you're good. Don't even think about it. Stay your asses home.
So that's just a glimpse of one town in rural America. This next one is very short, but again, Antifa, Black Lives Matter decided that they were going to show up in this town. I will say they didn't fare too well. Let me start this video.
It ain't going good at all. They just beat the ever-loving snot out of 3 or 4 guys, and it's going again. God damn it. The Antifa guys are not doing well here. They're all getting the shit kicked out of them. it's going bad. The Antifa guys are being chased like crazy. Told you, Ukaipa ain't the place to be. Those are Antifa guys running. Antifa guys they're getting the shit kicked out of them. Oh no, this isn't fair, guys. This isn't fair. Come on. The Antifa guys are just you can't come to Ukaipa with this shit. You can't come to Ukaipa. They're getting the fucking shit kicked out. Go home, bro. Go home. Get the fuck out of here. Here's your shoe. Hey, homie. Hey, here's your shoe, dog. Enough, guys. We don't need to follow them. I know we don't need to follow them. They've had enough. Holy shit, shit's hitting the fan here, but like I said, this Ukaipa, the Antifa guys got their ass handed.
So, anyone with 2 brain cells can see what is unfolding. Very well planned out, allowed to happen across this entire country. Mobs, rampaging, out of control mobs, pretty much burnt down every U.S. city in this country, looted everything, beat elderly white people indiscriminately and brutally. So the big picture, you come out of months of a COVID-19 forced lockdown. Tens of millions of people, hundreds of millions of people been forced to be locked down, have all this pent up energy, and then allegedly a black man was killed by some police officers conveniently, and actually there's intel out there that suggests that man is actually alive and well, but that's another video. What I see happening here is nothing to do with the alleged death of that black man. This is a well thought out plan, been in the works prior to COVID, because after the COVID lockdown was lifted, this was the next phase. And while many of the small businesses that survived the months of being closed due to COVID, the rest of them have been completely wiped out due to this. Burned, looted, gone. And you can check it out on your own. Complete areas of major cities gone, and probably no likelihood of them recovering anytime soon. So this was orchestrated, and from what I see from those last 2 videos, in these large cities where they have major gun control, the citizens within these cities that have gun control, millions of people living in terror for days and days and days and days, living in terror with mobs looting and burning and just viciously beating people. There's a plan behind this, and I really don't even have to say it. The last two videos that I showed, people are armed, and there are segments within this country that will not allow to happen in their rural areas the types of things that happen in New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, Minneapolis, Miami, Tampa, Denver, Portland, Seattle. But when you can see past the game plan and the end result, I'm going to say that civil unrest is not the word. Civil war will most likely be the correct phrase. No doubt. These are the times that we live in, and through credible information that has just surfaced over the last couple of days about Antifa gaining explosive devices from their outside sources and planning to go into rural areas of the United States, that would trigger even more anarchy, and very likely, since the Caucasian white people are the cause of all the ills of all the minorities, I have a feeling that these Caucasian white Americans have had enough of it. And when we say that a civil war in this country, blah blah blah, never gonna happen, it's already happened before once. But I will say, when Antifa, Black Lives Matter, Black Bloc starts going into rural areas, it is very likely this will spark a civil war. And it would not surprise me if, in fact, this was a part of this plan. The Civil War would not be the end of the plan. It is just another phase of it. So I'm going to end this now. I hope everybody has a very blessed day, a very safe day. You may need it. Over and out here.